In this video, you will learn how to use percents. So what we're going to do is walk you through a few different examples in which you need to use percentages to answer. So example 1, the junior class has 200 students. 180 juniors attended the junior banquet. What percent of juniors attended? So we have 180 juniors attended out of the 200 total. So the fraction would be 180 divided by 200. So the attended divided by the total, that will give you your percentage. So we can divide top and bottom by 10. That gives me 18 over 20, which can be divided more. And you can divide top and bottom by 2 to get 9 over 10. And 9 over 10 as a decimal, that is one you should have memorized, and that would be 0.9. And then as a percent, you move the decimal over 2 places to the right, 1, 2, to get 90. So my solution would be 90%. So 90% of the juniors attended the junior banquet. Example 2. The senior class has 130 students. 80% of the seniors went to the senior banquet. How many seniors attended? So this one is a little bit different than the last one. This one, what we're trying to do is we're trying to find basically what is 80% of 130. So 80% of 130. The word of means multiply. So what I do is I take 80% or 0.8, multiply it by 130, and that would be my solution. When I multiply those together, 130 times 0.8, I get 0. 24, carry the 2, that would be 8 times 1 plus 2, which is 10. And then we see that there is one digit after the decimal, which means that we need one digit after the decimal in my final answer. So the decimal goes right here, so that way there's one digit after, and my solution then would be 104. So I have found that 104 seniors attended out of the 130 total. Example 3. The Miller family has a monthly mortgage payment of $720, which is 15% of their monthly income. Find the monthly income. Now for some of these, it's helpful to translate this into an English phrase that will help us make it easier to convert into math notation. What I mean by that is we can translate this to the essence of the question, which is $720 is 15% of what amount? So that is really essentially the question. It's right here. And once I write it like this is much easier to translate into math notation. So we have 720 is means equals 15% as a decimal would be 0.15. Of means to multiply. And then what number or what amount? That's going to be your unknown, which is your variable. So I have 720 equals 0.15 times x. So that is my equation. And from here I can solve this by dividing both sides by 0.15. When I divide by 0.15, on the right side, this will cancel. On the left, I have 720 divided by 0.15, and when I calculate that, I could multiply the top and the bottom by 100, which would get rid of the decimal in the bottom. When I do that on the top, I have 720 and then 2 zeros at the end, divided by, and then 15. So I can just divide 72,000 by 15. When I do that, I have 4 that goes up here. 4 times 15 is 60. Subtract, I get 12, bring down the 0. And then 8 times 15 gives me 120. And then no remainder. So then we have 2 zeros at the end. So add 2 zeros at the end of my answer. So my solution would be 4,800. So I found that their monthly income is 4,800, and that 15% of that would be 720. Example 4. 80% of the student body voted for their class representatives. How many of the 700 students did not vote? So if 80% did vote, that means 20% did not vote. So what I need to do essentially is find 20% of 700. So 20% of 700, the word of means multiply. So 0.2 times 700, and that will give me my solution. So 0.2 times 700, I would get 0, 0, and then 14. We have one number after the decimal, which means I need to have one number after the decimal here, which would make the decimal after the 140. So my solution would be 140. And that means that 140 students did not vote in the election. Example 5. An order of small fries costs $1.40. An order of large fries is 40% more. Find the price of the large fries. So there are two different ways you can actually do this. One way is you can find 40% of 140 and then add that to 140. So 40% of $1.40 means I take 1.4 and multiply by 0.4. So I have 1.4 times 0.4, and if you do that over here, we have 16, carry the 1, that's a 5. And then we have one number after the decimal here, one number after the decimal here. So then I add those together. There are two numbers after the decimal that I need for my solution. So the decimal goes right here before the 5, and my solution for that part is 0.56. Now that's 40% of $1.40. The question says that the large fries is 40% more. So this is 40%, and then to find my answer, I add that to 140. So I do 140 plus 56 cents. That would give me a total of $1.96. The other way I could have done that was I could have taken my $1.40 and realized that 40% more means that I'm paying 140% of the original cost. Right, 40% more than the original is 140%. 40 plus 100% is 140. And then convert that to a decimal, would be 1.4. So I could have done $1.40 times 1.4, and that would have given me the same solution of $1.96. And that concludes our lesson for today. We will see you next time.